And in the meanwhile, Mr. Johnson Chukwu came back on. In fact, you heard the real heart of his matter, his point of view being that, look, the way you explained it, whereas he can appreciate it, it does seem like, unlike the MAGA in America, why are we not doing something equivalent and concern ourselves exclusively with the welfare, as it were, of Nigerians? Why do we seem to be also bothering about the, shall I say, wholesomeness of our trading partners?
Excuse me. Well, I think when we talk about our trading partners, you have to look at it in context. Well, every country's economic policies are anchored around its own economic well-being and the well-being of its citizens. When we talk about trading partners, who are the major trading partners? You're talking of, excuse me, you're talking of China, you're talking of US, you're talking of India, in terms of your import partners. In terms of your export partners, you're talking of a country like India, Netherlands, Spain, and all those countries. So, but for us, what we look at is this. If a country like your export partners are not doing well, that means they won't be able to buy your goods. So you're interested in them doing well so that they continue to buy goods from you. And that's why when we talk about our major export commodity is crude oil. So, so if the US, for instance, are major consumers of crude oil in the world are China today, US, India, and the Western economies. If the economies slow down, the demand for crude will go down. If demand for crude goes down, your export earnings will go down. If your export earnings goes down and you still import the same quality of goods and services, your naira will come under pressure because you're no longer earning enough dollar to be able to finance use the dollar to pay for what you are importing. So you may now need to go and borrow. So it's in your interest that whoever your trading partner is doing well so that they can continue to trade with you. Similarly, for your import, our largest import partner is China, followed by the US. China accounts for about 32.5% of our total imports. So if China shuts down, like happened after the COVID, when other countries reopened and China shut down, so you realize that most Nigerian importers couldn't import the raw material, the equipment, the machinery they were importing. Some of them were at the stages of fixing their factory, and they couldn't bring in Chinese to come and do those things that had started the process. So you see a shutdown in that economic activity. And if you can't import most of the things you import, you find now that those things will become expensive. The few ones are available, people want to buy them at any cost.
Okay.
So the economic health of your core major trading partner is also directly related to your own economic health. And that's why people are interested in how well their trading partners do. But that does not take away the fact that your economic policies should be inward looking. Inward looking is this, how do I produce more goods so that I'm not only dependent on export of crude, I can also export tomato, I can export cassava, I can export tubers of yam, I can convert cassava into starch, I can convert it into several things. My palm oil, I can also convert it into vegetable oil. So I can export it. So I don't need to rely on the US, India, and China buying crude oil. I can also sell these things to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to Brazil. So in that case, I'm no longer subject to a particular country. Then for your import, you say, why must I import everything from China? Why don't I attract those Chinese companies to come and produce them here? Why don't I learn the competencies or encourage my Nigerian business people to access loans from the Bank of Industries to go and set up those factories and produce things that I have to import from China, so that if China shuts down, my economy does not shut down. So that's where the speaker's comments come in, that we must have an economic policy inward looking, focusing on how do we structure our economy that we're not dependent on any particular country.
Okay.